Story 1. The Creepy Gas Station Follower. 2 a.m. on a deserted highway. My gas tank was nearly empty, and I just wanted a quick stop. But I had no idea that someone had been following us for miles. My girlfriend and I were driving from Ohio to Florida for Thanksgiving. We had left late, running on fumes, hoping to make the long trip straight through. By the time we reached southern West Virginia, my gas tank was nearly empty. The GPS guided me to a small gas station just off the highway. Relief washed over me. I thought a quick stop would be simple, but the station looked abandoned. Dim lights flickered, the pumps were empty, and aside from the clerk behind the counter, there was only one car tucked around the corner. My girlfriend was asleep, so I decided to run inside quickly to use the restroom. The moment I stepped through the door, something felt off. The clerk froze when he saw me. "How did you get in? The door should have been locked," he said. My heart skipped a beat. I brushed it off and rushed to the restroom. When I returned, the tension in the air had thickened. The clerk's eyes were sharp, worried. "Who's in your car? Did someone follow you here?" My stomach sank. A man had followed me from the highway. He had come into the gas station right after me. He lingered near our car, asking questions, watching, and then disappeared behind the building. My girlfriend woke up, panic in her voice. She whispered about a man knocking on her window, asking for me, trying to get her to open the door. My blood ran cold. The clerk stayed alert, watching him until we were safely back in the car with the doors locked. As we drove away, hearts pounding, the dark highway stretched endlessly in front of us. Even hours later, I couldn't shake the thought, if that door had been locked like it was supposed to be, we might have run straight into him. That Thanksgiving night, safety felt like a distant memory. And even now, years later, I still can't stop thinking about how close we came to something truly terrifying. Story 2. The Midnight Intruder on the Porch. Just past midnight, I thought I was safe in my house, until I heard someone whisper my name from the porch. I had spent a quiet night working on my computer. The house was silent, except for a faint voice that seemed to drift through the walls. At first, I assumed it was my upstairs housemate on the phone, but something felt off. This wasn't coming from above. My bedroom connects to the back porch through a door I had blocked with my dresser. I tried to dismiss it. Maybe I was imagining things. After brushing my teeth and getting ready for bed, I lay down, straining to listen. The voice continued, low and murmuring. Slowly, a cold realization hit me. It was coming from the porch. Heart hammering, I crept across the room and pressed my ear against the dresser. The faint creak of the porch door confirmed my worst fear. Someone was inside, moving, whispering. Through a streak of moonlight in the kitchen, I finally saw him, a man with long, scraggly hair, curled up on the porch floor, rocking back and forth, muttering to himself. Fight or flight took over. I ripped the door open, screaming at him to leave, trying to sound as intimidating as possible. But he didn't flinch. Slowly he turned his head and said, almost childlike, "My name is Evan." Chills ran down my spine. He didn't plead or explain, just murmured, I know, I'm hiding." Anger and fear collided. I shouted at him, demanded he leave, and finally, he slowly rose, unnervingly calm, and walked away. Later, I assumed he might have been a homeless man, under the influence, but that didn't make it any less terrifying. Knowing he had been in my porch for at least an hour, while I was just feet away, shook me to my core. From that night on, I double-checked the porch lock every evening. And every time I hear a creak in the dark, I remember Evan and how close he came to crossing the line from strange to dangerous. Story 3. The Deadly Night of November 30th. It was just another school night, until Matt returned from the mental hospital, and one night changed everything forever. What happened on November 30th is something I'll never forget. I grew up in a quiet suburb in North Carolina's safe streets. Familiar faces, practically no crime. My senior year of high school felt normal, until Matt came back. Matt had struggled with depression and dementia for years, though he hid it well. Seeing him back at school felt like relief until the rumors began to swirl. One night, a friend invited me to go paintballing right after Thanksgiving break. I had to decline because of family plans. Little did I know that night would become infamous. When we returned to school the next day, Matt was absent. Rumors flew he'd supposedly run away to Washington, D.C., but something in my gut told me otherwise. Days later, the unimaginable happened. 4 of Matt's friends were arrested in connection to a body found in a nearby summer home. It was Matt. Shock, disbelief, guilt, these emotions hit me all at once. That night of November 30th, when I had been invited, replayed in my mind. Had I gone, could I have stopped this? The trial revealed horrifying details. Algra, Adil, and 2 others had plotted and executed the murder. Algra and Adil received consecutive 20-year sentences. The others got life. The nightmare that had once felt distant became real, a haunting memory etched forever in our town. Even now, thinking about that night makes my stomach turn. What started as a simple school night ended with friends' lives shattered. A community shaken, and a chilling reminder: darkness can hide where you least expect it. Story for the strange neighbors next door. I thought I knew my quiet suburban neighborhood, until I realized the people living 2 houses down weren't normal at all. What I saw through my window made my blood run cold. There's a man who lives 2 houses away from me. From the front, his house looks ordinary, but the blinds are always drawn. I've never seen inside, not once. From my back window, I could see the backyard. Strange things immediately stood out. Large metal tubes running from the windows to the basement, a shed with 2 massive padlocks. And most unsettling, he spends hours in that shed. Every summer, he sleeps in a tent in the backyard. But he isn't alone. There's a teenage boy, around 15, dirty and unkempt, and a man with a long beard. During the day, they ride bikes with carts, picking up random junkled shoes, deflated basketballs, scraps of metal. But at night, the backyard feels wrong. Fires. Strange fires. Smells of wood, plastic, fabric, and something almost meaty, sour and tar-like. I tried to rationalize it. Maybe he's eccentric, maybe an artist, but my gut told me otherwise. The animals, too, are disturbing. His long-haired dachshund was aggressively vicious, later replaced by another dog just as wild. The boy seemed more like a helper than family. And the bearded man, he was the most unnerving of all. One night, my roommate and I were returning from grocery shopping. As we turned onto our street, the bearded man stood there, staring at our car. Sinister, our hearts pounded as he followed us with his eyes, then slowly shuffled back to his house, like a shadow gliding across the lawn. Later, my boyfriend and I saw them again, bikes with carts, whispering about bringing a tent inside our living room so we could go camping. They laughed. That night, sleep was impossible. Living near them has been a constant unease. The harmless explanations don't fit. Every movement in that backyard, every whispered laugh in the dark, keeps me on edge. Some neighbors are just wrong, and every time I see their drawn blinds, I feel the chill return, reminding me that their world is completely separate from ours and that we were never meant to see it. Story 5. The Mountain Road Stalker. A dark, twisting mountain road. No streetlights, no cell service, and a car behind us that refused to back off. What happened next still chills me. Last Thanksgiving, I was driving home from college with 2 friends through a remote stretch of Arkansas. The mountain road was brutal, sharp curves, steep cliffs, and no guardrails. One mistake, and you're gone. Halfway through the drive, I noticed headlights in my rearview mirror. Another car, way too close. At first, I thought he wanted to pass, but he didn't. Every turn we made, he mirrored. Every slowdown, he slowed too. It wasn't a coincidence anymore. I pulled into a small church parking lot, hoping to let him go ahead, but he didn't move. Instead, the driver stepped out, leaned against his car, and stared straight at us. No expression, no words, just watching. My friends whispered for me to lock the doors. I could feel my heartbeat in my throat. Minutes passed like hours. Then another pair of headlights appeared down the road. The man instantly jumped back into his car and sped away like he'd been caught. We thought it was over. It wasn't. 10 miles later, we saw him again parked on the shoulder, engine running. As we passed, he pulled out and started following us all over again, staying just far enough back to keep us guessing. By the time we finally reached home, my brothers were waiting outside on the porch with rifles. The car rolled to a stop for a second, then tore off into the night. We couldn't read the plates. We never saw him again. Even now, every time I drive that mountain stretch, my hands tighten on the wheel. Some people on the road aren't just bad drivers, they're looking for something or someone.